Okay, this is our first podcast. Colin Geddes here, one of the event directors for the Grant to Grand Ultra. We're very pleased today to have Garth Reader, race commissioner for the Grant to Grand Ultra and multiple successful ultramarathon and stage race finisher. Garth, good morning. I've got a few questions to ask you.
Morning, Colin.
Hi. Can you just answer the following questions for some of our Facebook group members who some of them will have been experienced runners, some this might be their first stage race. Was G2G your first self-supported stage race?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. Okay. So what made you sign up for G2G in the first place, and what year did you do it in?
Oh, when was that? 2014, I believe it was. I had done a supported stage race, and then I had done a self-supported stage race, and I really, at that point in time, decided, yeah, this is the kind of running I really enjoy, and found that the G2G was close by to where I live, and I figured, well, I better sign up for that one since it's nearby, and it sounded really exciting.
Great. Okay. And what if anything was your experience of G2G compared to your expectations?
I went into G2G with minimal expectations, since this was really only my second self-supported stage race. And quite honestly, my G2G experience there it exceeded my expectations immensely. I mean, it was a well-run event, and the atmosphere there was one of inclusion, supportiveness, and quite honestly, a lot of fun.
Great. And what do you enjoy most now about stage racing? Because you've completed G2G and you've gone on to do other races. I suspect most of them are self-supported. I think you like the self-supported aspect. But what do you most enjoy about stage racing?
Well, there's several things I really enjoy about stage racing. One is getting out into some new place that I've never been before, and being immersed in the environment out there, whether on whatever continent or in whatever country, I get to go out and see things that I haven't got to see. Another aspect about stage racing that I enjoy so much is spending time with fellow competitors and race staff. You get to know these people, you're living with them for a week, and you meet new friends and make new friends and meet old friends again, and that's really, really fun.
Okay, perfect. What advice would you have for first-time stage racers or people who are nervously thinking about whether they should sign up for their first stage race in G2G?
Well, there's lots of advice. Obviously, you need to do your homework. Make sure you understand what you're getting into. These are quite different than normal ultra marathons, and the strategies for them are different. Equipment selection is important, but not the end all be all. And you got to get your training under your belt too. But finally, is that you want to make sure that you arrive at the start line prepared and in good shape.
Okay, perfect. Now, do you have a special memory from when you did G2G for the first time?
I guess the special memory is two of my tent mates have become close friends with me in the messages. I think that's one of the biggest memories is meeting these fellows that I spend time with now.
Okay, so I just lost you there. There was an interruption in the signal, the Garth. But could you just summarize it in 10 seconds? What it was most special about that memory?
Yeah, the one memory, the special memory, is meeting and becoming friends with a couple of my tent mates that has lasted over the years. In fact, and it still exists today. We get together and race 1 or 2 times a year now.
Perfect. Okay, well, it's great to hear that. What would be your top 3 tips for people doing G2G for the first time?
The top 3.
Top 3.
Yep. Well, prepare yourself physically, get the miles in. Prepare yourself mentally, because stage racing is a very mental game. And finally, prepare your equipment and nutrition.
Okay. And now I know you've become a race commissioner since you did G2G, and we've become close friends, Garth, over the years. But has G2G, did they inspire you to go on and do something extraordinary, or were you already pretty extraordinary when you were there?
I think G2G sort of solidified my commitment to stage racing. Having done one before and then doing G2G and doing fairly well in it, I figured, yeah, I really enjoy this now.
Okay.
And that has led me on, my multi-year of stage racing that I pursue to this day.
Okay, and the last question I've got for you is, stage racing is not cheap by any means. That you've got the entry cost of the race because of the logistics and support required to put it on, but then you've got to invest in lightweight equipment and everything that goes with it. So how have your stage racing experiences, how would you say has your investment and the costs and efforts been repaid by your experiences in these stage races?
So looking at stage racing, yes, costs are more than a typical ultra marathon. Your equipment costs, once you invested in your equipment, you have it, and quite honestly, a lot of people will use it for other things than stage racing. The return, though, is, I look at it almost as, what would you spend on a week-long vacation and or a 10-day vacation? And I think for me, being out there, experiencing these new sites, these new places, these new people, is well worth the cost. I would never have gone to some of these locales where I've done stage races before, and the memories that it brings to me are great.
Perfect.
So for me, it's worth the cost.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you very much for your thoughts today, Garth. That's very much appreciated. Again, this is Colin Geddes, event director from Gram to Grand Ultra, who's been interviewing for our very first podcast, Garth Reeder, race commissioner and experienced stage racer. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thanks. Thank you.